Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Willen. I'm the global managing partner and chairman for the global consulting firm Kearney. I was intended to share this presentation with Richard Attias. I have been informed with various heads of state here today that he won't be able to make it, so I'll have to take it on my own. This is a very important topic that we talk about today. Certainly the future, prosperity, resilience, and other themes that are on display throughout this meeting this week. One of the important dimensions that we need to think about is that of cities and urban environments. Half the world's population lives in an urban setting, in a city, and it's a key dimension to make sure that preparations and resilience are taken into account to absorb various shocks across the economic sector. We just heard about the importance of transportation infrastructure. Certainly that's a big factor in how a city can adapt and connect with the world, but there are many other shocks that cities contend with as well. We see increasing levels of social unrest. Certainly climate shocks and other disruptions of that nature have played a big role in cities' ability to adapt. We see technology disruption as well, really challenging cities in many cases. So the dimension of the city is really a critical factor for future prosperity, as we've been talking about. As a firm, Kearney has been working at cities as an important part of the economic ecosystem for many years. In fact, we've been doing different studies for over 30 years, studying global cities. We do a lot of work looking at foreign direct investment trends as well, and a big part of that is deployed into cities. We set out, together with the collaboration with the FII Institute, to make sure that we're actually creating more of a forward-looking index, a forward-looking view on how cities can adapt to the challenges that they face, the various shocks that they face, but also building more resilient, more adaptive infrastructure in order to best account for the challenges that we see in the future. So our goals in this study were to be future-oriented, certainly to be targeted to the things that will matter most into the future, but also to create a set of considerations that are more actionable for various stakeholders. I'll come back to that in a few pages. So we built a framework together with the FII Institute that really looked at 5 different dimensions of what we consider to be important for cities and urban environments going forward. It starts with institutional governance, really making sure not just the politicians involved and other city leaders, but the entire institutional support model behind an urban environment. That's an important factor. We also looked at other factors as well. Sustainable finance and business, this is critical. Certainly you see how cities play a role in the broader economy and all the companies that play in a various urban environment. Technology and innovation. Part of that is a threat, the threat of disruption, but the technology infrastructure also can create adaptive capacity to handle change into the future. Social and human capital, I think we see that time and again, that the ability of the human capital, the human infrastructure, and all the talent processes around it give urban environments, give most economic environments the opportunities to thrive. And then lastly, we talk about global integration, which you see here on display, certainly as this region has developed, the importance of being connected with, again, another threat that we see is the geopolitical winds, which are changing constantly. The ability of a city to connect with other parts of the world, to participate in global supply chains, is a critical factor for success. So in this study, which is our inaugural study, the first time we do it together with FII Institute, and we plan to build from here, we started with 31 different cities. And these are all highly regarded cities. It crosses many different geographies. We wanted to get a mix of how to look at cities, and probably many would be performing very well in their own right on the typical backward-looking indices. We wanted to make sure we were exercising this index to really look forward. We picked these 31 cities across the world to do that. We do plan to continue to build this into the future. We'll expand this to make sure other cities are included as we go forward in subsequent editions. And you can see the representation. It's the global north, it's the global south, and certainly examining what different cities are doing to handle the future in different ways. So, the moment you've been waiting for. We're going to reveal the top performing cities in this iteration of the index. So, the number one city performing in the Global Cities Resilience Index is London. I'll say a few words about the first five. It's interesting to learn. I would say, London probably more than anything really embodies what we consider to be global connectivity now in so many different dimensions. It's a center of finance, it's a center of trade, it's a center of immigration, and you can see that, and that's what allowed London to rise to the top spot in this index. Perhaps a bit surprising is Amsterdam in the number 2 position. And Amsterdam really embodied a very strong performance in areas of human capital and society connectedness, right? It's a society which is very connected to the issues that the city faces, and that's another important factor in the resilience that a city can illustrate, can exhibit. So Amsterdam in the number 2 position. Number 3 is New York. Again, another certainly powerhouse city, and right away one has to look at the economy, the role that New York plays in the global economic trading system. But it's also a city that we saw had a balance across all these different factors. It wasn't just the economic strength of New York, the economic power of New York, but it really is all the different efforts. For instance, you see a technology ecosystem which is developing quite rapidly in New York as well. Very important going forward. Number 4 was Dubai, and again, the only city of the top 5 which is really part of the more the developing markets, but you can see as well how cities are positioning themselves for future success. And I think the key factor in the case of Dubai was, again, elements of technology, but also of talent attraction. Really, Dubai being a very desirable place for many newer generations coming as a place to work, as a place to live, and that gives really a flow of talent which many cities around the world envy quite a bit, a very important factor. And then the last of the top 5 is Toronto. And Toronto, for us, exhibited strong performance in institutional governance, really an important factor beyond the parties that are in power, but really building a broader infrastructure for governance across the city. Again, these are the top 5 in the current in this current rating. And we can go on as well. I would call out to the city we're in now, Riyadh. I think we've seen Riyadh performing very well in many different measures. I think earlier today you heard in the plenary session Lubna Olayan talk about ease of doing business as an example, and you see that all across Saudi Arabia. Riyadh has performed very well as well, number 19 in this rating, an important factor going forward that they are building on their strengths. So the messages we have for various stakeholders coming out of this index, and we continue to work on this with many different stakeholders across this ecosystem, the urban environment, the city environment. First is for certainly mayors, leaders of the cities, is to really look over the horizon. Again, this idea of looking forward past what the challenges are today to build a more resilient infrastructure into the future. We think investors will continue to play a big role, a more important role into the future. That's critical too, to align all of the different stakeholders. businesses play an important role, and we're seeing all different forms of public-private cooperation where businesses have a much stronger say looking into the future. And then lastly, citizens are not to be forgotten. Citizens, of course, is what many of the city services are there for. Their prosperity is a critical factor, and they should play a role in what's being formed for the future. So, this was intended to be a quick overview of this index. We're speaking to the press about it this week. It's available on the website as well, the FII website, to also highlight many of these findings that we've identified in this report. We do plan to take this forward together with FII into future years. Thank you for listening today, and we do hope you incorporate at least this dimension in your thoughts about prosperity into the future. Thank you very much.